Hi, welcome back to my video. At this point, I think my program have matured and it have almost all of the function that I would like to have. So from now on, I'll begin to produce more videos in the data instead of demonstrated features. And today I would like to look at the IPEDS for enrollment migration data. IPEDS migration data is all about which state and institutions students coming from. And as you can guess that most likely an institution's students are coming from the same state where the institution is located, or it's from the vicinity of the institutions. However, for one reason or the other, there are always students coming from other states. And today I will investigate where Nebraska's college students coming from. Okay. So let's begin. Okay, let's begin with the institution tab. Okay. In the basic tab, we basically select Nebraska. So that's basically we are concentrated on the Nebraska institutions, and we select the sector 1, 2, and 3. So those are the public four-year institutions, or the sector 2, the private non-for-profit institution, and 3, private for-profit institution, four-year institutions. So we basically concentrate on the four-year institutions. And we would like to see how this program, what kind of analysis we can do with this program. Okay. And for the majors, well, it's not surprising we're looking for enrollment and migrations. And once we searched, we filtered by year 2016, and there's two variables. And these two majors, the first one is the first-time degree-seeking undergraduate student. Okay. And the second one is the first-time degree certificate-seeking undergraduate student, who graduated from high school in the past 12 months. So those are basically the recently graduated high school student and goes to the colleges. And the first one actually include those high school students after they graduate from the high school for more than 1 year. Okay. So in general, the first variable, the for enrollment residence 1, will basically include the for enrollment resident 2, and they should be a little bit bigger. Okay. And once we add this two major to our selections, we go the user majors. We define the user majors. And as we can see, we define two user majors. One we named the first time all, the other we named the first time first year. Okay. And we also selected a variable, the for enrollment Part C state. Okay, Part C is the migration. And these variables have the value of a state. Okay, they use the FIPS code, but it's basically represent the state. Like FIPS code 1 is Alabama. Okay. And once we define the user majors, that we click the do this, and then we go to the query to obtain the data. So we click the get data, and we receive the data over there. Okay, and over here you can see there's data from the sector 1, there's data from the sector 2. Okay, and those are the two variables, first time all and the first time 1 year. Now let's go to the plot options. Okay, we would like to look at data from the overall view first. Okay, so what we did, we'll have one lines, and we'll select all the states. We'll select all the states. Okay, and we do exclude the FIPS code 89, FIPS code 58. Okay, and then we do calculate all the points, and then we go to the plot, and we plot the first time all and the first time 1 years. Okay. Okay. And you'll see it generated two lines. Okay. The first line is for the first time all, and second line is for the first time 1 year. Okay. And you can see for most part these two are exactly the same. So what they tell you is that there are quite a few students. There are few students that go to the college after 1 year from their high school graduations. Okay, and one that's few that are you probably can kind of see is for the Nebraska. Those two are a little bit different, and also the foreign student, those two are different. And for Nebraska, it's probably just because the size. Okay, there's a lot of students, so let's make the number of students that went to college in more than 1 year or so noticeable. Okay. And for the foreign students, I think it's reasonable. It's more likely for the foreign student to attend the college after 1 year from their high school graduation to come to the United States to attend colleges. Okay. Okay. And one thing you also notice that because the number of students attending from the Nebraska that's attending Nebraska institution are so high, it masks out a lot of details from other states. So one thing we would like to do is hide the Nebraska, hide the 31, so we can see, we can examine those students from other states more detail. And to do that, we're going to take the 31 out of our state list. Calculate all the points. Okay. And then we go to the plot, and we plot those two. Okay, here you go. So after we mask the fifth code 31, now we can see those data more clearly. Okay, and again we have two lines. The first line is the first time all, and you can see in general first time all is higher than the first time 1 year. Okay, but again they are pretty close to each other. Okay, they are pretty close to each other. And again we see except for the foreign students. Okay, so the next thing we like to see is a contribution or the comparison between each sectors. Okay, the data contribute from different sectors. Okay. So we'll select the sector as our serial. Okay, and we'll take out the year. Okay, and have the sector as our series, and we're going to recalculate the point. Okay, and once we recalculate the point, we're going to look at it, we're going to plot it again. And for this, let's just look at the first time all. Otherwise, there's too many lines. Okay, so we do a plot, and now you can see there's 3 lines. Okay. Okay, the first one is from the public 4-year institutions, and the second line is from the not-for-profit 4-year institution, and the third one, it's pretty much at 0, and it's coming from the for-profit 4-year institutions. Okay, and if you compare the sector 1 and the sector 2, okay, you can see the major differences is on the foreign student. It seems that the public institution have much higher foreign student, get much more foreign student than the private sectors, okay, than the private non-for-profit institutions. And the other one we notice is that for Colorado, that's a FIPS code 8, and California, we actually have more students more out-of-state students attended sector 2, attended a private school than the public. Okay, and you look at the 46, okay, FIPS 46, you notice most of the out-of-state students coming from the state 46 went to the public public 4-year institutions. So those are just some of the observations, but otherwise you can see those two aren't that much different. Okay, and the part of the reason, of course, just like we mentioned earlier, that most of the students probably coming from the vicinity state, so adjacent state. So for example, the 19, that's Iowa, okay, and the 8, that's Colorado, and 29, that's the Missouri, okay, and the 46 is actually the South Dakota, and we think the reason there's a much more South Dakota student went to the Nebraska public institution is probably because the Nebraska Wednesday College is right on the border between the Nebraska and the South Dakota, while they do not have many private non-for-profit 4-year institution located near to the Nebraska and South Dakota borderline. And we can check that later. Okay, later we'll remember to check that, to verify that. And for now, one of the important observations is the sector 3, the private for-profit institution have very little foreign students. Have some from the 12 from the 19 from the Iowa. Okay, but that's pretty much it. You don't really see much from other states. Okay. Now the next thing we would like to do is we like to see overall, which unit ID, which institution attract most of the out-of-state student. Okay, and in order to do that, we go back to the plot options, and now we like the unit ID to be the x-axis. Okay, and we're going to select all of them. Okay, and we'll keep those states selected, and that will basically give us the number of the where the number is going to sum that up with. And then we'll do the, again, we're going to pick one series. Okay, so we're going to take that one off, and then now we're going to recalculate all the points. Okay, not doing it. No, computer is so slow. Okay, got it. Now we go to the plot. Okay, and let's plot O. Okay, and now you can see the x-axis is actually unit ID or institutions, and the y-axis is the total number of students from out of state. Okay, and you can see the highest one is the 1A1464, which is the University of Nebraska, Lincoln. And the second highest one is the 1A1002, which is the Creighton University, which is actually a private, non-for-profit 4 years. So you can see it's very impressive that the Creighton can actually attract a lot of out-of-state students. And even though that's probably true that for public institutions that they have a focus of in-state students, and then probably why, for example, 1A1394, that's University of Nebraska at Omaha, they attract less out-of-state student, because their main purpose is to serve the in-state student. Okay. And once we see that, the next thing we probably would like to see is, say, how can we look at for single institutions where their student coming from which state. Okay, and that can be done, and let's use the University of Nebraska and the Creighton University as our examples. Okay, so let's go to the plot options, and let's select Creighton University 1A1002 and University of Nebraska Lincoln 1A1464. Okay, and we'll have those as the serials. Okay, and we'll have the x-axis as the state. Okay, and then we're going to recalculate all the points. Okay, and then we go back to the plot, and again let's just look at the first time total, first time all, and then we're going to plot that. Okay, and you can see there's two lines. Okay, one for the Creighton University and the one for the UNL. And one thing that's really standing out, as you can see, is the foreign student. Okay, and you can see University of Nebraska at Lincoln attract much more foreign students compared to the Creighton University. Okay, and the other, you also notice 46. It's South Dakota. Okay, if you remember, it's 46, South Dakota. But overall, you can see it's really impressive that Creighton University attract a lot of students from the out of state. Okay. And again, we notice that overall, there's a lot of overlap between these two institutions. And again, that probably because of the geological locations. Okay. Again, you will see the 19, the Iowa. Okay. And the 17. 17 is the Illinois actually. 17 is the Illinois. Okay. That is a little bit of surprise. That is from my point of view. And then there's an 8, that's a Colorado. And the California probably just because the sheer amount of students that in California, and they probably were quite a bit of students went to the out of state institutions. Okay. And 27, we notice it's Minnesota. Somehow Minnesota have a pretty close relationship with the Nebraska. And the 29, that is the Missouri, so that's not a surprise. It's right by the borders. Okay. And the one thing we probably like to see, who is the Kansas? Where is the Kansas? Kansas 20. Kansas is 20. Okay, it's there. Okay, the 20 is the Kansas. Okay. And let's look at the next thing. Let's look at the Colorados. Okay, just because, for the Colorados, okay, we like to see. Okay, next thing, let's examine the situation that, let's say you are interested in a student coming from the Colorado. And you're wondering which institution those students went. So you select the Colorados, okay, and you like to have the access to be the institutions, okay, and you probably only need one line. How about this? Let's look at the let's do more than one state. Let's do this in one chart. So instead of just the Colorado, let's also include South Dakota. Okay. And South Dakota is, South Dakota. South Dakota is 46. Okay. So we're going to also pick up 8 and 46. Okay. And we'll make that a Syria. Okay, so I'm going to make that one a Syria. Okay. And we'll have the institution as the x-axis and series will be the Colorado and the South Dakota. And we're going to calculate all the points, and then we go to the plot, and again let's just do that. So we plot that, and now you can see we have two lines. Okay, there's a 46 there, and there's 8 over there. Okay, so this is Colorado, and that's the South Dakota. And if you look at it, South Dakota, most students went to this is UNL, University of Nebraska at Lincoln, and the other highest one will be this one, which is the 1A0940A. Okay, 1A 1A0940A, Sheridan State College. And the Sheridan State College is right at the border of the South Dakota and the Nebraska. Okay. And that is the Creighton. Okay, that is the Creighton. And for the Colorado student, they went to the University of Nebraska, okay, at Lincoln, and they also went to the Creighton University, and also the Sheridan. And again, Sheridan State College is pretty close to the Colorado. It's not right on the border, but still compared to Creighton, University of Nebraska, Lincoln, or even, let's see, this is 1A1127. 1A1127 Hastings College. So even the Hastings College that Colorado probably is still closer to the Sheridan State College, okay, than the Hastings College. Okay, so again you can see all those have some reasoning concerning that the geological locations, okay, like the Sheridan State College and the Hastings College. Okay. And one more thing, I think I forgot to do that, but let's look at the overall contributions from the whole state. Have the sector as the X, and then we have one serial. Okay, we can do that, and we'll select all the state. Okay, all the foreign state, let's say. I mean the state from, the out of state, all the, and we'll take out like we did before, 58, and 89, and also the 31. So we basically sum over all those states, and we like to see for each sector what's their contributions. Okay, so let's calculate all the points. go to the plot. Okay, and here you go. And you can see for sector 1, it's a public 4 years. We got a total about 2,200 students. And for the sector 2, that's the private non-for-profit 4-year institution is about 1,700. And for the sector 3, that's the private for-profit institutions. We got about 17 students. And I think that's all I have for today. And with this program, that we can also do other things for the enrollment migration data. And I'll show you in the next video. Thanks. Bye.